From the Oklahoman Newsroom, this is an OU Update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Ryan Aber. Ryan, I think the two guys you could say have maybe been most surprising for the Sooners this year, Abdul Adams on offense and Parnell Motley on defense, they actually have a shared history, which is kind of bizarre, but they've known each other for quite some time, right?
Yeah, they went to middle school together, actually, in the Washington, D.C. area. Abdul Adams wound up finishing high school in North Carolina, but went to D.C. for middle school. He was a teammate of Parnell Motley in middle school, and wound up actually convincing Motley, or helping to convince Motley, to come to Norman and join him.
Well, I mean, both of these guys, I don't know if any Sooner fan wants to imagine this season without either one of these guys. But the impact that they've both had, let's try to put it into context a little bit. Let's start with Adams on the offensive side. What's been his biggest role in your mind as this season, we've now 4 games in, gotten a chance to sort of see this team as it's developed?
Well, I mean, while Trey Sermon has had some fantastic games and he's been a really good closing running back, Abdul Adams has been the guy who's gotten games started really well. And even the Ohio State game, when he had the fumble, he was able to perform well in the first quarter of that game, sort of set the tone. He's been a pretty clear #1 running back when you talk about the ability to do it for a stretch of a game, 2 or 3 quarters, rather than just the 1 quarter like Sermon's role has been recently, at least. But it's been immense, his impact on this offense, because without him, then things start crumbling in the running game. It becomes much more difficult for the offensive line to block for those guys. It becomes much more difficult for Baker Mayfield to find his guys downfield. Abdul Adams is a big key in what Oklahoma's doing offensively.
Seems like he's the combination of speed, size, elusiveness that I think a lot of us thought Rodney Anderson would be, but Abdul Adams has shown a little bit of everything out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, he's been able to catch the ball out of the backfield, which is something that he really struggled with a year ago. He's been able to do that a little bit to this point, but the ability to, not only the speed with which he hits holes, but the ability to continue that speed has been pretty phenomenal. We talked about that 99-yard touchdown run a lot, but his ability to not get caught there as defenders were sort of flaming out a little bit as it gets to 70, 80, 90 yards down the field. I think that was a big difference from the Abdul Adams we saw a year ago.
Okay, so we've talked about how much of an important role Abdul Adams has on offense. I might argue that Parnell Motley's been even more important to the defense. His role has been significant, Ryan.
Yeah, I think it'd be easy to make that argument, because he set the tone for this secondary early with the plays he was able to make. There was no doubt that defenses were going to attack the other side. Jordan Thomas was proven on one side at corner. Parnell Motley wasn't. Teams started attacking, and Parnell Motley made play after play. I mean, we talk about the interceptions he made, the pick 6 he had against Tulane, the big-time interception he had against Ohio State that all but sealed it. Might have had a second one in that game had Lincoln Riley asked for the review. And that forces teams to go to Jordan Thomas. Now, Jordan Thomas didn't make many plays on that side against Baylor, but you've got to figure that as offenses have to get more honest with how they deal with OU's secondary, that Jordan Thomas is going to start making some plays.
As good as these guys are, I have to assume that middle school football team of theirs was pretty good back in the day?
Yeah, it was pretty good. And the funny thing is that both of them actually played at the same time they were playing middle school. They also played Pop Warner football at the same time. Abdul had to miss a playoff game for the middle school because of the Pop Warner game was scheduled at the same time. Parnell Motley said, "Hey man, you can't leave us hanging in the playoffs." Abdul Adams said, "Well, I got to pay to play Pop Warner. I don't have to play middle school." So I think it was Dad said, "You're going to play in this game."
All right. Well, they don't have to worry about splitting ways now. They're both wearing that Sooner crimson. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.